now that we're talking about September 17th, September 27th, 10 days away, that's the debate in California. Do you have plans do you hope to be on the debate stage? And if you're not on the debate stage, what are your plans?
Well, confident we're going to make it, and it takes a while. Of course, with these clubhouse rules that require a national polling as well, we shifted some resources towards national advertising and name awareness, but only a couple weeks ago, so it takes a while to settle it in. So we're confident that we're going to make it. And the second question, if we don't, then we're going to continue straight on campaigning. Absolutely, we'll be on the ballot here in New Hampshire. We'll be on the ballot in Iowa. And in the end of the day, it's the voters that get to decide how the field gets narrowed, not a cable network and not clubhouse rules.
Right. And so you say that you're going to be on the ballot in New Hampshire and Iowa, but a majority of Republican candidates are in Iowa yesterday for the Faith and Freedom thing last night. That's arguably how Ted Cruz won 2016 with the evangelical vote. Why are you in New Hampshire instead of Iowa?
Well, I think one of the things as we understand, we're in a different position than anybody else in this race because we've got the lowest name recognition, and you want to go the places where you're not in the crowd, and whether it's the Iowa State Fair when everybody else is there, or whether it's events like that where it's essentially a cattle call and everyone's there, I guess, except former President Trump wasn't there, but you just go someplace where you have the whole state to yourself. We thought that made a lot of sense.
You often skip cattle calls, and so is it because you'd rather be somewhere by yourself?
Well, I think it's an opportunity where we're running in the position we're running, and it's an opportunity for us to have opportunities to connect with the press, connect with people, and do that in a way where we're not buried under whatever the news of the day might be.
Governor, I know you said the other day you do plan on staying in this race through New Hampshire, at least. Just wondering if you don't make the debate stage, talk about trying to improve your name recognition. I know you said the other day you have high favorability ratings. Is there a concern if you don't make the debate stage about those, the name recognition, not increasing?
Well, I think there's been historical precedent in the sense where people miss a debate, they make the next one, because again, when we just started chasing this, I think somewhat irrelevant national poll number, because again, when Iowa and New Hampshire are done, there's 98% of the Electoral College votes are still remaining, and the voters that we talk to in Iowa and New Hampshire feel like it's their job. They're the ones that are coming out, meeting candidates, spending time like you saw yesterday, like you'll see today, people that are investing their time and really understanding who the candidates are, not just watching a snippet on a national news channel. So Iowa and New Hampshire, they play a critical role in actually helping to thin the field, and it's the voters that should decide who advances in these, not some national polling.
Just shifting gears to some other news going on right now. Just want to know your reaction to the United Auto Workers strike, and if you think the automakers should meet the demands of that union. How should this be resolved?
Well, this is totally unsurprising to me, because the whole auto industry is being turned upside down once again by the federal government's intervention, because when the federal government gets into a marketplace and says, hey, we're going to subsidize 500,000 EV charging stations with taxpayer money, we're going to subsidize actual EV cars to the tune of up to $7,500 per car, they're basically trying to drive ideological policy with taxpayer dollars. And when we've seen this happen in higher education, the cost of higher education goes up, but the output and the quality. We've seen it happen in healthcare for the last 23 years, where we've been plowing all this money into federal programs for healthcare, and we don't end up with better health outcomes in our nation. And now they're deciding, hey, we're going to get involved in this. Well, then the UAW, to make an electric car, you need a lot less workers. So part of this is a battle about EVs versus internal combustion machines, and then it's also a function of union versus non-union car companies, because you've got some of the leaders in EVs that are non-union. So there's a number of other battles that are going on here that go way beyond what the wage rate is. But I put this all at the feet of the Biden administration, because by them saying, hey, we're going all EV, it creates a competitive disadvantage for the late adopters, like the traditional big three. So those guys make less money on EVs, they make more money on traditional vehicles. It takes less workers to make an EV, so they're trapped in between. And I think, again, the federal government is getting involved like this, probably didn't think it through and go, hey, we could actually be crushing American auto workers and American auto companies by their ideologically driven program. And of course I say ideological because they state that they're moving to all EVs because that's somehow going to be better for the environment. But when you are buying your batteries from the world's largest polluter, China, then that makes no sense. If you want a clean we spent the time that we had talking about the issues which we know matters to all Americans: economy, energy, national security. I mean, with inflation out of control affecting everybody in our country, we're the only candidate on stage that talked about the Cold War with China. So we felt like we really were on message during the time. So of course the question is, under the current debate rules, how do you get more time? You have more time if you're willing to engage in name calling and throwing out quippy retorts. But in the world where I've come from, the business world, no one picks a CEO by who can be the most offensive to other people. I mean, it's just in a world that I think some Americans are just really exhausted with the idea that somehow this demonstrates leadership, character, integrity, decision making. The things that you really need to do is somehow exhibited. It's political entertainment. It's political theater. It's not. You would never pick a superintendent for a school through some kind of structure like that. You wouldn't pick a coach for your third grade girls soccer team that way. I mean, it's just and you certainly wouldn't pick a CEO. I mean, I've been chairman and CEO of multiple public companies. It just is it's a bizarre American ritual, but it doesn't actually demonstrate, who's got the capability to lead the country during a time where we're entering some very challenging times. So, of course, we got less post-debate press because we weren't involved in some of the skirmishes, but I'm telling you, so many people reached out to us and said, wow, we really are looking for someone who's willing to stay above the fray and actually focus on the things that matters to us. So we absolutely felt like we had a strong performance, and we'll have strategies to keep driving our message forward in the coming debates.
Okay.
All right, okay, we got the
soundtrack. I love it.
70s drive here. It's like we're